Alright guys, so you become a fruitarian, you become a relative for a vegan, and you want to buy a road bike. I'm sure there's a lot of questions that you have, just like I had when I wanted to get a road bike, when I first got into this lifestyle. I'm going to be making this video for the cycling noob, the guy or girl who doesn't really know what to buy, doesn't know how much money to spend, doesn't know what their money's going to actually buy them. Cycling is full of marketing BS, probably worse than any industry in the world. It's very expensive to get into. The equipment is expensive. The maintenance is more expensive than you'd think. And just getting the bike to fit you correctly is actually a pretty hard task. I'm still working on it myself after like 9 months, and that's after a professional fitting that cost me 190 bucks. So today I'm going to go over the bike. I'm going to go over what I have, what I ride, maybe give you sort of a baseline on exactly what things that you might want to look for when you're buying your first bike, and kind of what a mid-level bike looks like and how much it's going to cost you. So I'm not shy with sharing prices. I'll tell you exactly what I paid, and that's all good. So let's get into the bike. Alright guys, here it is. This is my 2014 Cannondale SuperSix Evo 5. What the 5 stands for is that it has a Shimano 105 group set. Basically, road bikes are made up of 3 major components. You've got the frame, which is the most important thing. You've got the wheels, which is, your rims. And that's probably the second most important thing in terms of your comfort and kind of aerodynamics and speed on the road. And also your group set. And the group set is everything from your shifters down to your crankset and even your brakes, and also your cassette in the back. So this gear looking thing in the back, that's a cassette. Yeah, so all this stuff works together as your drivetrain. So when you're putting power to the pedals, this is the stuff that keeps you moving, including your chain as well. First things first, you definitely want a 50 by 34 chain ring, which is this guy here up in the front. You really want a 50 by 34 compact chain set. And I'll tell you one thing, when you go to buy a new bike in the store, the guys in there will try and talk you into getting whatever's on the bike. And most bikes come with standard cranksets, which is a higher ratio than you want. It's harder to pedal with a higher ratio chain ring. So if you're climbing any hills, you really want a compact. Even myself, after riding for 6 hardcore months now, riding quite a bit, riding a lot of hills, I'm still using my lowest gear available to me when I'm riding all the time. So if I'm climbing a really steep hill, once it gets above 8% gradient, which isn't even all that steep, you could probably find that pretty much anywhere, and maybe unless you live in Florida or something. But yeah, I'm using my lowest gear. So if it's available to me, I take it, and it helps me get up the climb faster, and climbing is more fun that way, and you'll end up doing more climbing. And if you're looking to get leaner and lighter, hills and climbing is the way to go. So you've heard that from Durian Rider, you've heard that from a lot of people. It's totally freaking true. I've lost 20 pounds in like 8 months while eating like 3,000 to 3,500 calories a day. And definitely no starving over here. So with this bike, like I said, this is sort of your mid-level, entry-level carbon frame. It's not their high modulus frame. If you're buying the first bike, unless you just got a ton of money to spend, literally over $4,000, then don't even look at the high modulus carbon frame. One more thing about the cassette in the back, which is very important. Most bikes these days are coming with a 10-speed or 11-speed group set. So what that means is you've got 10 individual gears back here, or 11, and the higher the ratio in the back, the better. So if you see a cassette, let's say with a 12-28 or a 12-30 tooth, the higher the better. So if you're getting a 30 tooth in the rear, that means that you're going to be able to climb easier over hills. For a very beginner person, I would recommend no less than the combination of a compact crankset in the front and a 12-27 tooth in the rear. Absolute minimum. If I could get more, I would. My bike came with a 12-27 in the back. So yeah, I wish that I probably had more like a 28 or a 30 tooth in the rear. I'd be totally cool with a 30 tooth, but like my brother's bike came with a 30 tooth in the rear and a compact in the front, which is an awesome newbie setup, and he can get up pretty much anything. He doesn't really ride that much, so it's definitely a great starter setup. I'd recommend people to look at felt bikes if they want that optimal setup for sort of a newbie frame. But anyways, I really like the Cannondale, and that's what I wanted, so I bought this thing. But this is what you're going to be looking at for an $1,800 setup. So I got this bike on a pretty sweet deal. The original price was $1,700. I paid some tax on that, and it came with pretty much everything you see here. The only difference is I did change the tires. I changed them twice. I'm running now the Continental Grand Prix 4 Seasons. These are an awesome wheel, very durable, but still kind of a racy feel to them. Not quite as hardcore as Gator Skins, which are like super bulletproof wheels. If you listen to Durian Rider, he'll tell you to check out the Maxxis Refuse tires. I don't know what the deal was, but I did buy those, spent about $100 on them, and I got flats on flats on flats, basically. And I was running 28 millimeters on front and back. So I don't know if we get different rubber compound here in the United States than he gets over there in Australia, but those were a terrible experience, and I bought these, and these are way, way more reliable. So not cheap, like I was saying. These 4-season tires are going to run you like $130, $140 if you buy them from a retail shop. So pretty pricey. I've changed the seat. This thing is like $140. The Specialized saddle, I'm just kind of testing it. This is like the 3rd seat that I bought. Obviously, when you get into road biking, you're going to absolutely need to buy a little saddle bag like this, plus put some tubes and like a CO2 canister in there. And it comes with like a little tool kit so you can work on your bike on the road. It's super handy. But I mean, just this little thing costs you like $70 to set that up. I've got a little hand pump on there, behind there. The bottle cage is going to run you about $20, $30. The pump's going to run you, $40, $50. That's kind of an emergency thing. Also, when you're buying a new bike from the shop, they do not come with pedals, so you're going to have to get yourself a pair of pedals. I do have a spreadsheet with all this stuff. I might throw it in at the end of the video, I'm not sure, but I jumped up and I got some Ultegra pedals, Shimano Ultegras. These are super quality, pretty lightweight, and just an overall solid setup. I did have to change my stem, so I got a longer stem on there because my bike is, I'm kind of on the tall side for this frame, but the guy that fit me, he's a racing coach, and he put me in a really, really aggressive position. Well, not super aggressive, but more so than the bike is set up stock. So something that I would absolutely recommend is the minimum of a Shimano 105 group set on any road bike that you're going to buy. And I would also highly recommend at least getting Shimano 105 brakes. You do not want those Tektro brakes on there. Those things are terrible. They make it really hard to stop. If you've got weak hand strength or you've got small hands and you're trying to reach around from the top here, with Tektro brakes, the feel is terrible. It's like grabbing onto rocks. So these 105s are a lot more supple, and then the more you pay, the better all those components get. So the brakes get better, the crankset gets stiffer, everything gets lighter, and it shifts smoother, and that's what you're paying for. You're paying for super luxury after this price point. So this bike is going to give you the sort of bang for your buck all around, solid performer in all categories. It's going to be quality components. It's going to last a long time. It's going to be pretty comfortable. We'll call this bike, the way that it's set up right now, as far as for a race bike, 8 out of 10 comfort. If you pay for a $4,000 or $5,000 bike, and that's a sale price, you're going to get 10 out of 10 comfort. And what you're buying at that point is just more carbon components. It's going to be lighter. It's just going to have less vibration going to your hands. It's going to have less vibration going to your butt. And the whole bike is just going to be more responsive, stiffer, etc., etc. If you're just getting into that, completely unnecessary. The guys that I ride with in the big group rides, you know, from the shop, these kids are legit fast kids. Some of them even race in Europe and stuff like that. And half these guys aren't even running a bike as nice as mine. And that's pretty funny because they work there and everything. So don't be sold on the marketing BS. You do not need a $5,000, $10,000 bike when you first start. You don't even need a bike this nice. You can get the aluminum version of this bike, Cannondale CAD 10. Look that up. Really, really, really popular bike for the racing, the guys who race crits. And super solid bike. You can get it with the same exact components that my bike has, and you could buy that from the shop for $1,200 plus tax. So, I mean, if I had to do it over again and I didn't quite have the extra money for the carbon frame, I would totally buy the aluminum frame. Okay, so I'll probably end up making another video on exactly what a bike fit gets you, and I'll throw that up. I think it's a really interesting topic. I was super interested in that when I first got my bike. I wanted to know how much of a difference it'll make, so I think that'll help a lot of you guys out. When you do buy a bike from the shop, you gotta also realize that you're not getting a bike fit, a legitimate bike fit. You're gonna get thrown on the bike on the trainer, and they're gonna hook you up, and they're gonna want to keep you moving out the door. So bike shops are like the worst customer service in the world, to be honest with you. They'll throw you up on the trainer. They'll have you spin your legs a little bit, and especially if you don't even know what you're looking for, you don't even know what a comfortable bike feels like, you're going to just get up there and hope that they do their best, and it's going to probably take about 10 minutes for them to fit you up, and then they'll send you out the door, and you'll be smiling, and they'll be smiling, and that's pretty much it. But when you want to talk about a professional bike fit, that's when the guy comes in there, and he spends about 2 hours with you. You're sitting on the trainer, you know, you got your road shoes on at that point, your full gear, you're sitting there spinning, and he's measuring power outputs, and he's measuring your knees, how they track on the computer scanner, and he's switching stuff out for you, and he's trying to find the best, most efficient position for your body so that you're fastest and also comfortable. So that's a completely different topic, but we'll get more into that on another video. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Like the video if you like it, and subscribe. See ya.